Their competitors have defined themselves by what they do. We make computers. Apple has defined themselves by why they exist, to challenge the status quo. The opportunity to wake up every single day and serve those who serve others, to give to people who give to others, is the greatest gift we can have in the world. It is the greatest reward we can have in the world. It is what gives our life a sense of purpose. It's the reason why we do what we do. There are leaders and there are those who lead. Leaders hold a position of power or influence or rank, but those who lead inspire us. And whether they're individuals or organizations, we follow those who lead, not because we have to, but because we want to. We follow those who lead, not for them, but for ourselves. This is for the people who want to inspire others, and this is for the people who want to find somebody to inspire them. Someone chooses to go in a direction you set, sometimes at personal sacrifice, then you are a leader. The question is, why should anyone follow you? As it turns out, there are two ways to influence human behavior. You can manipulate people, or you can inspire them. Those are your options. In the business world, we are all very familiar with many manipulative techniques. For example, price. Price is manipulation. If you drop your price low enough, people will buy from you. And fundamentally, the job of leadership is not an easy job. It is a job that requires more work, not less work. And all the trappings we get and advantages and higher salaries and better parking spaces, all of that comes at a cost. And that cost is our willingness to sacrifice ourselves, our well-being, and sometimes the numbers, so that others will survive and do well and feel safe. Those are leaders. But the leaders who are willing to sacrifice people to save numbers, they're just in leadership positions. They're no leaders. So the advice I would give to leaders is think of yourselves as parents. If you look at a cross-section of the human brain, what we see is that the human brain evolved into three major sections that corresponds precisely with this little idea. Our Homo sapien brain, our rational brain, that corresponds with the what level, is responsible for all of our rational and analytical thought and language. The middle two sections make up our limbic brains. And our limbic brains are responsible for all of our feelings, like trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior, all decision making, and it has no capacity for language. In other words, you can't ask people, why do you love doing business with us? They can't tell you, because the part of the brain that controls decision making doesn't control language. This is why the question, why do you love your husband or why do you love your wife, is a difficult question. Why do you love your wife? I don't know. That's where most people start. And it's not that you actually don't know, it's that it's hard to put into words the feelings we have towards another person. And so we start with, I don't know. And then we start to rationalize. She's fun, I can trust her, she's always been there for me, I've known her forever. Right? Sounds like a golden retriever, right? And then we say things that don't even make sense, right? She completes me. I don't know what that means. It's like I have a left arm and a left leg, she has a right arm and a right leg. Together we make one. I mean, it's like she completes me. I don't even know what it means, right? We rely on all kinds of symbols and things to tell people who we are so they can either be attracted to us or repelled by us. This is why authenticity matters. If you lie and present yourself as something who you are not, yes, people will be drawn to you. The problem is they'll get to you and be like, I don't know, I don't know, something doesn't feel right about him. I don't know, right? We talk about this like, he just gets it, he just doesn't get it. Well, get what? What is it, right? This is where gut decisions come from. There is no part of your stomach that controls decision making. And it's not in your blood, and it's not in your bones, and you're not following your heart, right? What we're doing is ascribing it to different parts of our body because the part of the brain that controls decision making doesn't control language. The best we can muster up is, I don't know, it just feels right. It's not an accident that we use the verb to feel to describe a decision, because the part of the brain that controls decision-making controls feelings. And so we're constantly relying on these symbols and things to say something about who we are. When you go to Paris and you're standing on the Paris metro on holiday with your family, minding your own business, right? And you happen to hear a Canadian accent behind you, and you turn around and say, hey, where are you guys from? You're from Toronto? We're from Vancouver, right? And you're like best friends, right? Again, because when you're in an environment where you don't feel like you belong, you seek out anyone who may share the same values and beliefs. At home, there's nothing special about you. But when you're in France, hearing their accent, they have a basic understanding of how you grew up, and you have a basic understanding of how they grew up, and the bond you form is very real. They'll turn to you and say, hey, you guys have to try this restaurant. And you'll turn to your spouse and say, honey, we've got to try this restaurant because strangers on a subway told us we have to. I'm by myself and she's by herself. She's in a position of vulnerability. So she's looking for someone with whom she may form some sort of bond, right? It's a normal human thing. We want to feel like we belong. And because the part of the brain that controls behavior and all of this emotional stuff doesn't control language, she said to me, I love Southwest. She didn't say, I like Southwest. Like is rational. Good price, good quality, good people. I like Southwest. She said, I love Southwest. She's talking about this. So if I had said, me too, we'd walk down together, we'd sit together, we'd be friends, right? Or if I had said, yeah, I mean, they're okay, they're fine. I mean, I like them, they're good. She would have turned around and ignored me. Because she wasn't telling me about the airline. She was telling me about herself. And it's because Southwest has such a clear sense of purpose and are so disciplined in how they do things and so consistent in what they do, it gets to the point that everything they say and everything they do now serves as a symbol of a set of values and beliefs. And here's how Apple actually communicates. They start with why. Everything we do, they say, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? It's totally different. No trickery, no manipulation, no celebrity endorsements. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it starts to show us is that it's not what you do that matters, it's why you do it. And people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. What you do simply serves as the tangible proof of what you believe. This is why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable with the idea that Apple sells computers and phones and DVRs and MP3 players. Apple's just a company, that's all they are. Every single one of their competitors, pick one, it doesn't matter. Dell, HP, Compaq, every single one of their competitors is equally qualified to make every single product that Apple makes. Every single one of them has equal and open access to the same consultants, the same agencies, the same media, the same talent, the same resources. It's a zero-sum game. The difference is, their competitors have defined themselves by what they do. We make computers. Apple has defined themselves by why they exist. To challenge the status quo. To give the individual the opportunity to stand up to Big Brother and find a simpler alternative. And everything they say and everything they do simply serves as tangible proof of what they believe. Dell is a perfectly good company that makes perfectly good products, that's every little bit qualified to make every single product that Apple makes. And a few years ago they tried. A few years ago they came out with MP3 players. And nobody bought one. Why would we buy an MP3 player from a computer company? It doesn't make sense. But we do it every day. Because it's not what you do that matters, it's why you do it. And people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. I just said that. For this little thing to work, you have to have three things. Number one, you have to have clarity of why. If you don't know why you do what you do, how will anyone else? Two, you have to have discipline of how. You have to hold yourself and your people accountable to your own guiding principles and your own values. And thirdly, you have to have consistency of what? Everything you say and everything you do has to prove what you believe. This is the concept behind authenticity. It's getting boring listening to people tell us that we have to be authentic. People prefer to vote for the authentic candidate. They prefer to buy from the authentic brand. What authenticity means is the things you say and the things you do you actually believe. And when you tell people what you believe, they know what you believe and they're eerily drawn to you. How many of you love your Apple computer or know somebody who loves their Apple computer? Okay? You can always tell people who love their Macs because when you try to explain to them, look, he raised both hands. Do you see that? Thank you. When you try to explain to them that they actually bought substandard computers, they start foaming at the mouth, right? Rationally speaking, Apples are at least 25% more expensive than their PC counterparts, sometimes double the price. They can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. You're just encouraging them. They're at least 25% more expensive, sometimes double the price. There's less software, there's fewer peripherals, and I know I have a Mac. There's nothing faster about them. I get the spinning beach ball of death all the time, right? In other words, rationally speaking, no one should ever buy one. But they do. Over and over and over again. And they raise both hands and they heckle. They can't help themselves, right? They can't help themselves, right? They buy them over and over and over again because it's not about what the computer does. It's about what the computer stands for. Because Apple is so clear about what they believe, they're so disciplined about how they do it, and they're so consistent in what they do, it gets the point that everything they say and everything they do serves as a symbol of a set of values and beliefs. This is why people who love their Macs love opening their laptops in airports. They want everyone to see what computer they're using. And you'll never see someone put a big tiger print sticker over the top. They'd never cover up that beautiful glowing apple. And how many of you have ever broken out the Windex to clean your computer? If you have a Mac, you clean your computer because it's a symbol of who you are, and so you keep it clean. And you Mac lovers, don't lie to me. When you're walking through the airport, just minding your own business, and you see somebody else with an open Mac, you like them just a little more, don't you? And there's a simple reason for it. The human animal is a social animal. Our survival depends on our ability to find people who believe what we believe, to form cultures, to form societies, right? What is a culture? What is a society? It's a group of people with a common set of values and beliefs. What's a country? It's a group of people with a common set of values and beliefs. What's a company? It should be a group of people with a common set of values and beliefs. When we are surrounded by people who believe what we believe, something remarkable happens. Trust emerges. Make no mistake, trust is a feeling. Trust is a human condition. Simply doing everything you say you're going to do does not mean people will trust you. It simply means you're reliable. We all have friends that screw up sometimes, and yet we still trust them. Trust is born out of a common set of values and beliefs, and it is absolutely essential for our survival. When we are surrounded by people who we trust and they trust us, we're more willing to explore, we're more willing to experiment, we're more willing to turn our backs, all with the confidence that if we turn our backs, go away, or fall down, someone will be there to pick us up, watch our backs, or watch our stuff when we're gone. Absent trust, it's every man for himself. Absent trust, all we have to do is look after ourselves. We still have the will to survive, but with no help, we only have the responsibility of ourselves.